All right, so I'm gonna teach you how to paint eyes on this Superman head sculpt right here. And it's pretty basic. All you will need is 3 colors: gray, black, and white. And then the last color is you're gonna need this Bugman's Glow. All right, so initially you're gonna need your paintbrush. Lastly, you're just gonna need a little note card. And a brush, of course. Okay, so first things first, you're gonna go ahead and grab your brush. You go ahead and dip it in. Make sure you water down and thin down your paints. Without it, it's not gonna be that great. And that's what I do. I mainly wipe off the excess amount of paint. That's what I notice a lot of people have a tendency to do. They just leave too much paint on there, and so it clumps up and it's gonna get real bad results. And you want to make sure you can get nice thin lines relatively. See that? That's still too thick. So I'm going to go back in again. See that? Too thick? Until I get nice thin lines. That's close enough. I think I watered it down too much on this scenario, but yep, there we go. You see that? Nice thin strokes for the most part. After that, you want to go ahead and grab your head. Again, you don't need to be perfect. It's all right if you miss, because we're going to go clean it up later. See that? Nice and simple, clean strokes. It's a little harder to do this on camera since I'm not used to doing it this way. See that? That's in for the most part. It's okay. Like I said, it's all right if you're a little messy. You can see that I messed up on the edges right there. But that's okay, because I'm going to go back in and clean it up later. I'm going to flip it upside down. It's a lot easier to paint the left eye like this for me. And just wanted to show y'all, it is all right to be a little messy. You're not going to be clean the first time. Rarely ever is. Anyways, that's that for that pass. All right, that being said and done, let's move on to the second part, the white of the eyes. I personally mix up the gray and white, since if you get pure white eyes, it looks a little unnatural to me. But hey, everyone got their preference. If you prefer straight white eyes, then go ahead and be my guest. Again, we're going to use the same technique. Go ahead and just grab your cardboard or whatever and make sure you get nice thin strokes. See that? Beautiful stuff right there. That's the main reason why a lot of people struggle painting eyes, is because they don't have that precise control over their brush. And go ahead and just aim for everything but the top of the eye. Again, it's never going to be perfect the first try, and you don't need it to be, because we can always clean this up later. See that? That's already looking good already. See that? That looks pretty good. Okay, again, let's go ahead and wipe off our brush. Off screen, I am wiping off my brush so I can get nice, thin, clean lines. There we go. Go ahead Once again, I like to do this often when I am painting the right eye actually. Okay, that being said, now we got the white of the eyes, which we can still see the little black outline right there. And now we're going to get into the hardest and most difficult part that most artists struggle with, which is placing in the pupils. Okay, for the pupils, again, you're going to need your brush. And personally, I like using black paint, but I've seen some artists specifically grab the darker color or the darker version of whatever their iris or the pupil color is and use that instead. I prefer using black so I don't have to mix more paint since I already got it out. And again, off screen, I am wiping down the majority of the paint on this brush until I get nice, clean, thin strokes. Now, a lot of people struggle in where to place the eyeball. It's pretty simple, actually. So first things first, you want to take the corner of the lips, which is right there, go directly up, and use that as your reference. So you don't want to draw the circle just yet. You just want to place a line just like that. You see that? Just the line. Now we know where the center of the eyeball is. After that, we just kind of want to go in a semicircle direction. And my rule of thumb is I prefer having the iris or the pupil, my bad, take up 75% of the eyeball. That's just a personal preference that I have. And it's not a rule that all of you need to follow. Maybe that's a little too big. Again, it's all right if you make a mistake. You can go back in with the white and kind of correct that. But for right now, move on to the other eye. Same process, corner of the lip, move directly up, place in the line. There we go. Now we got that center of the eyeball again. After that, another C movement. Let's add a little bit more width to the eye. Oh, sorry, if it went out of focus again. See, I definitely added a little too much to this eye. So I'm gonna go ahead and show y'all what the cleanup looks like. Now with that being said, like I said, I messed up earlier on the eye. So what I like to do is go ahead and clean it up. So I'll go back in with the iris color. Man, I never know what to call it. The whites of the eyes, you get my point. So go ahead and I already off screen thinned it down. So go ahead and just retouch it up. I want to make that eyeball just a little skinnier. Ooh, much better already. See that? Major improvement just by adding a little bit more paint. And there we go. The eyeball is adjusted to my liking. Maybe a little bit more. Nothing wrong with touching it up just a hint more. There we go. I'm pretty satisfied with that. With that, let's go ahead and move on to adding the eye color. This one's pretty simple. Just like filling out the whites of the eyes, you want to go ahead and grab whatever color you have, which for me is this blue. Wipe off the excess. All right, let's go ahead and go on to adding the pupil color. Okay, again, want to thin down your paint. Go ahead, wipe off the excess off the brush. It's just similar to the step before. Just filling out the blacks of the eyes just with the color. And make sure this is somewhat in focus. Go ahead and dab it in, and there we go. We got the blues of the eyes. Maybe we want to add a little bit more to this edge. Just like that, we get the, it's a little hard to tell, but I guarantee you in person it's a lot more noticeable. Go ahead, flip it down, upside down for this eye. I'm assuming y'all at home have an easier time than I do since I'm doing this in front of a camera. Oh, it's already out of focus. Oh, once again, I'm trying to make sure it stays in focus. Just like that, we got the colors of the eyes in. Now let's go ahead and lock in the pupils. Again, you want to use the corner of the lips to pretty much simulate the center of the eye. So go ahead and dip your paint in, wipe off the excess. Oh, a little too watery. Let me go ahead and mix that up again. There we go, much better consistency. Off screen, I am wiping off the excess. Oh, let me wipe off a little more. See how much is on it. Not enough paint either. It's a little too watery. Again, remember, we're in it for the long game, not the short one. Okay, with the extra fine liner brush I got here, corner of the lip, go up, and just place in that eyeball. There we go, nice and simple. Same thing with the other eye. I'm pretty sure I got this eye color wrong for Superman, but thankfully, this is just an example. And there we go, just popped into pupils just like that. Now we want to go ahead and grab a white color. Either an off-white or a bright white, doesn't really matter. Okay, so go ahead and grab that white color. I personally prefer using bright white, or just flat white more accurately, so I can get the eye to peel up, you know, the eyeball to really stand out from the gray. Again, wipe off the excess. Oh, I can already tell I had a little too much earlier. And personally, I like adding the highlight to the bottom, let me see, bottom right of the eye. Don't know why. You go ahead and just dab it on. Seeing that? Just that little white dot adds so much to the eye already. Oh. And with that, there we go. We got some pretty good looking eyes. Again, I plan to go back in with skin tone and clean that up. I will show that process so none of y'all are very insecure. But we do have one more step, which is for that Bugman's glow. I like adding the waterline / the red part under the eye so you can give it a little bit more realism. Okay, like I said, last part, we want to use Bugman's glow from Citadel, or whatever red, deep colored maroony red that y'all have, and paint under the eye. Again, off screen. Like I said, this is the game changer when I learned this. You want to wipe off the excess paint on your thin brushes. And right under the eye, this will clean up the majority of the imperfections as well. Really subtle, but trust me, it is game changing. Once you get that little water line in there, makes it everything feel a little bit more realistic. I also use this color for the lips as well. Once again, I already have the paint mixed up, might as well use it too, right? Again, let me go ahead one more underpass with this. There we go. And then lastly, I'm going to show you the cleanup process. So again, so y'all do not think I am perfect. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do the cleanup. Because this eye had a little too much. See, just like that. Little touch-ups make a big difference. Granted, the skin tone is not really matching that well, but it's okay because I don't plan to use this head sculpt. This was just mainly an example to teach y'all. But see that by going back, I already cleaned up that eye line quite well. Additionally, some of y'all, I think a lot of us have the problem of holding up our figure so close that we notice every little imperfection. That's why I want y'all to always hold your figure this far. And I guarantee you, trust me, I noticed during this process I made a lot of mistakes when doing this. But holding it this far, I do not see the mistakes as clearly as I did before. Okay, but with that, that concludes how to paint eyes. Hopefully y'all enjoy.